Right, good day all. So we're moving along, right? Surah 41, we're moving along, right? Surah 41, and this is talking about Allah's verses, right? Being detailed and presented in detail, right? And not only presented in detail, but reiterated. So is stated, and like I was saying, in every chapter, almost every chapter, the message is reiterated, right? Like I was saying, if you find confusion in the book will eventually reconcile itself, right? So this is a revelation for the entirely merciful, the especially merciful, right? Note that me and you, right, whoever is delivering a message, are only persons to whom it has been revealed that God is but one God, right? You and me, whoever to whomever is relaying a message, it is only people to whom it was revealed that God is but one God, right? Right, so those who believe and do righteous deeds, for them is a reward uninterrupted, right? So this both clashes and reconciles something that is in the Bhagavad Gita knowledge I was talking about, which is Krishna's knowledge, right? Talking about doing deeds without expecting a reward. Right now, on one hand, right, it is one of the reasons why I kind of fall off, but at the same time, holding on a bit to that Vedic knowledge, which is the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, right? Meaning that there's something that says do work without expecting anything in return, right? Doing work without expecting anything in return. Now, on one hand, right, like the Quran itself, what I was saying, there are verses that could be used as to be oppressive towards people if misinterpreted. There are verses in other scriptures as well, right? But that's why I'm saying I do not favor one religion over the other in terms of scripture, in terms of that. There are verses in all scriptures that could be used by mankind and are being used by mankind to be oppressive upon people, right? And one of those is in that system, that Bhagavad Gita system, where they say to do work without expecting a reward. It could be interpreted and used by humans in authority to conduct experiences upon people, just like how British slavery, you do work and do expect any reward for it, and then the ship so on and you get a penny for it, right? Doing work without expecting a reward, right? It could be used by people in authority, right, to conduct slavery or indentureship or slavery like experiences upon people, where you have people working, and you're not compensating them, or if you're compensating them, you're not compensating them what they are due or what they are owed, right? So that is why the Quran says those who believe and do righteous deeds, for them there's a reward uninterrupted. Right? Now it could be interpreted on the other hand, based on the Bhagavad Gita knowledge, that do work without expectation of a reward, meaning that the creator of the universe will reward you in time. Right? That could be an interpretation. Right? But who knows? And who knows how people in authority are going to use this to affect people. Right? And this is the knowledge that people don't want you to know. Right? So you sit down and you teach people, sit down and teaching these things to others, and people not using their mind and thinking and saying, hey, is this system a system that is oppressing me, or is this system that is liberating me, right? Whether it be liberation here on earth, liberation in the after this life, whatever, right? So is what do you expect out of this life? What do you value in this life? What do you expect out of this life, right? You utilize your reason, right? Utilize your reason and come to a conclusion of that which makes sense and does not make sense. Right? So I personally wouldn't want to advocate for somebody working continuously and not getting a reward for that, because that is in fact slavery by definition. Right? That is in fact slavery by definition. By definition, even though people say, you might say, oh, well, you could gain moksha, right? And that is one of the things that is actually being used to tire people's head. Hey, you just work without expecting a reward, and the promise is paradise, the promise is moksha. Right? The promise is Jannah, right? The promise is heaven, right? And after you die, and you don't know what's happening after you die, right? So that is why I'm not an advocate for that work continuously without expecting a reward in that context, right? So that's that. So 23 verse 23 says, one of the things that bring people to ruin, right? meaning that mental, emotional, material ruin, right, is that making assumptions, right? You make assumptions about people without knowing them. You make assumptions about situations without knowing the truth about it. And as I was saying before, you don't want to be naive and navigate life without assuming anything either, because it's one of the ways that people could trample over you. But it's not to make wild out of the unnecessary assumptions, right? Because it is something that could actually cause ruin mentally to you, right? And we don't want that happening, or emotionally, right? Those who disbelieve say, do not listen to the Quran and speak noisily, right? So those who disbelieve, right? Those who disbelieve say, do not listen to this Quran and speak noisily during the recitation of it, so that you will overcome, right? So people, whilst verses are being recited or told, right, or spoken, right, people who disbelieve will say, hey, well, play some loud music, right? Distract you from this, distract them from this, distract whoever is what. Engage in their relationship at the moment with Allah, right? Or do something to distract this person, right? Those are those who disbelieve. Because whilst the Quran is being recited, you shouldn't, or verses of the Quran is being recited, you shouldn't be among those who want to divert anybody from it, right? Whether you know somebody is reading the material, right? Whether you know somebody is speaking the material, you shouldn't be among those who want to divert that person from it, right? Right. Right. So once you're on the right path, angels, right? Angels will descend upon you. Do not fear or grieve, right? But receive good tidings, right? Once you're on the right path, right? Angels will descend upon you, right? So do not fear or grieve, but receive good tidings, right? There are angels in this life, like I said, they are in human form. You might not really recognize them. There are certain entities on the unseen world as well, who are your allies in the worldly life, and also in the hereafter, which is here and now, right? The hereafter, which some of us are in right now, right? Who is better in speech than one who invites to Allah and does righteousness, right? Right. So you are, if you receive the message of the Quran, right? Whether you are watching this video, watching other people's videos, right? That is one of your tasks, actually, right? Once you receive the message of the Quran, one of your tasks, right? It is what some people call a mission, right? A mission, right? It is a task that once you receive the message of the Quran, it is incumbent upon you, or it is your duty, right, to invite another person through whatever means or mechanism, here in person, whatever it is, right, to be amongst those who invite another person or people, right, to the way of life, right, or to the message. Repel evil by a deed which is better, right, and thereupon the one whom, right. So once you repel evil by doing good deeds, right? You repel evil by doing good deeds, right? And in this way, even your enemies, you will cause your enemies to become like a devoted friend to you, right? Whether you know it or not, right? Do good deeds, you compensate for your past deeds, and in this way also, right? And we're not looking for friends or unnecessary relations or all that, but I'm just saying, doing good deeds, right? And you will cause even your worst enemy, you can cause even your worst enemy to become like a devoted friend to you, right? Right. But none is granted that, right? Because that is something that has to be earned, right? The ability to turn an enemy of yours into a friend, right? The ability to turn an enemy of yours into your friend is something that is earned. It's not something that's just given, right? That's something that's earned. It's something that's fighting, right? That's something that has to be fought for. Making an enemy your devoted friend, right? Think about that. Making someone who is your enemy and a devoted friend is something that one has to fight for, something that one has to earn, right? And none is granted it except those who are patient and has done a good portion of good, right? And if there comes to you from Satan or the shaitan, right, as referred to in Islam, an evil suggestion, seek refuge in Allah. And indeed, He is the hearing and knowing, and you would know in your heart, right? You would know in your heart and soul what that evil suggestion is that people are coming with or coming towards you with, right? With the hope that you engage whilst they watch, right? And we don't care who watching, nothing, right? They would hope that you engage in certain activities, right? And they get the opportunity to watch, right? So you would know in your heart, to you and yourself personally, right? What is the evil suggestion that the team, the shaitan team or the demonic team is coming to you with, right? To present to you, right? And what it is that you need to overcome within yourself, or what it is you need to overcome within yourself, right? Right. So Allah's signs are the night and day and the sun and moon. But do not prostrate the neither sun or moon, for they are but creations, but prostrate, if you are prostrating to Allah, Allah itself, right? Nothing is said to you except that which was said to messengers before, right? Nothing has been said to you or revealed to you has not been said to any messenger before you. And this is noted to note to the final prophet, because the final prophet is the final prophet, right? And whatever message has been previously relayed, right, to others that came before, right, that message will also be relayed to you, maybe in a different way, but it would be also relayed to you, right? For those who believe, the Quran is in fact guidance and a cure, right? For those who believe, right, the Quran is actually guidance and a cure, right? Guidance and a cure, meaning that Allah guides you and Allah saves you, right? Allah guides you and it is Allah alone who saves you, right? People want to be calling up all other names about whoever saves and whoever saves, right? Allah saves, Allah guides, right? Allah guides you to your own saving. Allah helps you to save yourself. Allah helps you to save yourself, right? Good. Right, whoever does righteousness is for its own soul, and whoever does evil is doing evil against their own soul, right? To Allah alone is attributed the knowledge of the hour, right? And a female does not conceive or give birth except with his knowledge. So this is all just saying that everything is encompassed in the knowledge of Allah. Nothing happens outside of that. Right? There's nothing that takes place outside of his knowledge, right? And right, so this is due 50 verse 50 is a humbling verse. Is like, if Allah blesses you with mercy or some other thing for that matter, mercy, some other thing, right? People would be like, oh, well, it's because I did so and so, it's because I have this knowledge, it's because I have this, I have these qualities, I have this knowledge, I have this, I put in this effort, right? When Allah, it is Allah who blessed you with that mercy, who gave you that mercy, right? Who knows? I would have probably supposed to die sometime before. You supposed to probably die sometime before, right? And if you were blessed with mercy to what? Extend your life, delay your life for a particular period, right? And you will say, oh, it's all because of my, right? So it's saying that people would say this is what? Due to me, right? Due to me, right? And it's not always the case like that, right? Like I was saying, is that sometimes you might just be picked apart and say, hey, this person deserves something for some other reason that everybody else knows not of, but God alone knows, Allah alone knows, right? So remember Allah, right? When this favor, in an unusual type of favor, for the reason known to Allah alone, right, is given to you, right? So, and don't turn away from that, right? So those who disbelieve, right, would be in extreme dissension, right? That's what the book is saying. Those who disbelieve in the knowledge or the message would be in dissension, right? People are in doubt with meeting of God, but unquestionably, He is of all things encompassing, right? So remember to be grateful, right? I am grateful for being able to reach this chapter, and hopefully we will reach chapter 42 by tomorrow, right? So take care, everybody. Have a good day.